Hey Cannapreneurs, we have a new sponsor, the Cannabis Commodities Exchange. Go to www.canna, exchange with the letter exchange.com. The Cannabis Commodities Exchange is a secure online marketplace where medical and recreational marijuana businesses can list lots of their products for wholesale, make custom purchase requests, and negotiate transactions with other users. CCX provides a secure cannabis training platform to Colorado licensed retail and medical marijuana businesses. Stay tuned. Open up, Colorado. It's 420. Time to grind and burn.
This is not your son's stoner show.
Welcome back to the Cannabis Community Project. This is Brainstorm, bringing you once again your weekly broadcast from the CCP studios high up in Denver, Colorado. I'm here exploring the business side of the newly emerging Colorado economy, focusing on the business, the patient, the retailer, to the geek in the garage, creating that next innovation in cannabis. This is the first media platform to help fellow Cannapreneurs build sustainable businesses while living the lifestyle. Thanks for joining us again, and thanks for your patience for waiting a couple weeks for this new episode to come out. We've had some changes. We've been revamping some things. We've been partnering up with people, finding sponsors. We got a lot going on, so I appreciate all you true fans out there, Cannapreneurs, followers, friends, family, and everybody else that's sticking with us. We have a whole new list of shows lined up for the rest of the year. We started off with a bang. We started off pretty much with me doing most of the work myself. But you know what? That's about to change. I got a couple new sponsors that we'll talk about. I got a new business partner moving into a studio across town here, a new studio that we're going to have bigger and better things and possibly expand out to some more shows. I'm going to introduce you to him today, Scoop. That's right. Scoop is his name. You're going to learn all about him. You're going to learn what he's all about. And then little by little, you're going to hear about him as the weeks go on, and he's going to be integrated into the show as a co-producer and co-host. So make sure to stick through the whole episode, listen to everything. There's always a lot of good information packed in all parts, the beginning, the middle, and the end. But let's not waste too much time apologizing and groveling and all that other stuff. Let's just jump right into what you already know, the Cannabis Community Project radio show. And as you know, every week we got to look back to what we did the previous week before. And since we've been gone a couple weeks, we definitely need to relapse now. We need a short-term memory flashback relapse to help us remember. It's just been that long. We have a 3-minute bit here to remember where we're coming from, and then we're going to dive right into where we're going. Here we go.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how you doing? Good. Where are you located at?
We're located in actually sunny South Florida in Miami. You know, my name is Amir Ryder, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer of wolfofweedstreet.com. It's a community that we're creating an environment for people to share ideas and communicate with each other. You know, it's newsletters that go out in the morning and recaps of the market. So we're just kind of really trying to bring together as much information as possible for the investors so they can make decisions, you know, whether it's, vapor, cigarettes, or companies that are providing financial products. So anything that's in the industry or, you know, we're trying to identify, and we have. And new companies are, you know, going to be entering the space. You know, some of them are going to be legitimate, some of them are not. So the more due diligence we can do, the more we can identify potential scams or put a lot of information. The industry's new, and we're just trying to find the good companies. The companies are going to be here for 5-10 years, and that's really our goal. You know, as the community grows, so there's the people providing us information, and you know, people in our communities are doing technical analysis of the chart, sharing it with members. They're talking about support levels, whether they're day traders, they're talking about fundamentals, whether they found out that the CEO was involved in another company that went bankrupt because they did their own research, and they're sharing with the community. So now the community knows that this company who are trading the stocks, and just like Angie's List, they can go to our forums, which would be similar to an Angie's List where, companies post on the forum and there's discussion, and then people can post things and discuss it. So, everything that's free on the site is, information that you can find across the internet just brought into one place. So it's obviously easier for the user to come to our site and access all that information all at once. And we're happy to have our free users in our community. If people want to join the community being a paying member, they get a little bit more access, some more information that might come to them first prior to being on Twitter. Or the timing and in the stock market, the timing you get information is very valuable. We're not an IR firm, so they get access to a community of people who believe in the sector, and they're able to share their ideas and raise money. Everything is going great for a company, but if investors don't know about it and they don't trust it, the stock's not going to go anywhere. The only thing we're looking for them is just unpaid content to the user, being leaning towards one direction. So I think we're sticking really on just not being an IR firm and just being community where people can share ideas. We want the users to be able to give us a lot of information and kind of share it. That's really the goal, is just focus on the community. And we don't have any plans as of yet to expand anywhere else. You need to look at what you're doing as a win no matter what. The byproduct of any business, you want to be profitable, with income obviously, but that's not always the end result. You're always going to learn. And, people looking to break into the industry, I would highly recommend that they do their research, focus on one thing, and try to be the best at that one thing.
And anybody can reach you on either side.
Yeah.
Very good.
The biggest thing that separates us from other companies is our focus on the sector. Really focusing in and not really, branching out different things. We're just really trying to stay true to our model and really, I think you asked the right question.
Very good. Very good. Okay, cool. And there you have it. That wasn't actually the last show. The last show we did was the Musicpreneur, but that was the last show for the Cannabis Community Project radio show where we spoke to a business, the Wolf of Weed Street. You can find them online under the same name. And if you like them, make sure to let them know you heard them here. You might have a business, and this is how it starts. Maybe you have an idea. You have some thoughts. You're listening to the show and you're saying, hey, I think I could comment on that. Well, this is your community. This is your radio show. So if you have an idea, business, thoughts, or anything else that's cannabis related, contact me. I want to hear from you. Let's discuss these issues. Let's talk about health, legal issues, food, growing, technology, and everything else that's coming down with the lifestyle. Join us on all of our social media platforms, thedankden.com, and of course, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and YouTube. You can find the show on all the media platforms, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Tumblr, and of course, Spreaker. So we got a lot of changes that are going to be coming, but not too much out of the format we've been going on. The only change we're going to have is just have an additional person in here working, helping produce some segments. So why don't you actually listen to the conversations so you can know exactly what I know? And then we'll get into this week's interview. We have a great interview talking to Gary from Gary's Rec Room right off of Broadway and Iliff, Broadway and Harvard. Maybe towards the Inglewood area, but still right towards the Green Mile. Gary's a great guy, and we're going to learn all about his smoking rec room where you can go down there and hang out with him. Free, but he does accept donations to help keep the lights on, and we'll learn all about that. But before we do it, let's learn about Scoop. Very much needed. Every time you're networking, you need to find people who have skills and talents to complement what you're doing. And Scoop is very much interested in doing what I'm doing. So we're going to team up. Let me let you listen to what we talked about the other day. Here we go. Scoop and I.
Rock a raccoon, oh, rocky raccoon. He checked into his room, only to find Gideon's Bible. Well, Rocky had come equipped equipped with a gun to shoot all the blades of his rival. Ooh, well, his rival, it seems, had broken his dreams by stealing a girl of his fancy. Well, the rocket busting and green.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That is Matthew Brady there on vocals and guitar, singing an old classic, a deep cut recording I had in my iTunes that I brought up. All right. So did we determine what we're going to call you? Scoop. The Scoop.
I guess the Scoop. They call me the Scoop.
They call me the Scoop. So we'll call you but then, like if I see you across the mall, do I yell out, "Hey, the Scoop," or do I just yell out "Scoop"?
I don't know. What are you more comfortable yelling out in the middle of the mall?
I think you should be Scoop. So I think there's some synergy going on there. All right, so let me introduce you, so something I can record for the show. Do we say you're Scoop from the Scoop 303?
See, that's where I was running into issues.
How about this? How about we say something like this? We're sitting here with Scoop from the scoop303.com, current operator, owner, and majority contributor. So this is your first time on CCP?
It is.
And it's a very special time.
Yeah, I'm feeling special.
Because we just made I don't know if it was considered an agreement, but we came to an understanding about collaboration.
Yeah, collaboration of radio and media.
And I don't know if it's even considered media at this point, but we're doing podcasting. And we determined that by joining forces, we could defeat the dark forces of bad podcasters and radio shows out there.
And any extra advertising never hurt anyone. Well, depending on what you were advertising.
Well, that's one of the things we're going to do. I mean, I met with some advertisers yesterday, and we're working out a whole new show, and we're going to partner up, and we're going to make this show, the Cannabis Community Project, even better. As they say, two arms work better than one, right? What is the sound of one podcaster working?
A lone podcaster.
So we're going to team up to the West Coast.
Yeah, definitely was what I was thinking. Also is a segment in the show for cannabis-related news. I've done a lot of my work in newspapers.
And you currently work in a newspaper.
Yeah, more in production than...
What type of production do you do?
Actually printing the paper and or warehousing it.
Is it a dying business?
Some say that it is. They're still making money at it. The doors are still open.
But within that job or that position over the years, you learn the news process.
I learned a little bit more of how media is put together and then served to you.
So for those who maybe didn't know before, I used to do a news segment. It was called Twin News. This Week in News, right? TWIN, Twin, This Week in News. But it was also a kind of a mocking type news, because I would basically just scroll social media, grab the headlines, and then repeat it. And that was kind of the whole joke, is that all the news was just being repeated by somebody else anyways. That was the whole point of Twin News. But I would like to get deeper into news. I would like real news to happen in the sense of following stories over a duration of time to get in depth with a certain topic. So I think the shift of the news here is going to be good, because it's going to allow us as a show to truly become the media part that we're talking about. We could potentially have a show people turn to just for the news alone.
So I had a question.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's allowed on the show or not, but I have heard in the past
Please submit your questions in writing beforehand.
If you have a medical card in the state of Colorado and you pawn a firearm, they can confiscate your firearm.
Really?
I don't know, it just crossed one of my vibes one day,
So you're already reporting news.
Well, I mean, I cannot 100% guarantee that, but it is definitely something to look into in Colorado law when firearms are concerned.
So here's how I would imagine producing a news segment based on that, right? We would put out a Craigslist posting to find individuals who have been affected in this way. Get a handful, pick the best of the best, and then spend a week or two with them, a couple hours every day, learning about their life and their family and the situation, how their life was before, how their life is after, how it's been affected, who else it's been affected, get little 10 and 30-second clips of other people giving little comments from their family, bringing a couple weeks of all of that hours of recording back together, putting it up on the Mac, and then piecing it together like any other story until it comes together into a nice 5-minute, well laid out story, narrated by yourself or somebody else or myself or whoever, however it works, maybe multiple people, and having a legitimate news segment every week.
Like a top story.
Like a top story, but one that feels like there's been some real time and depth put into it, where there's some real knowledge and something you can learn from, and where it looks like you've really investigated it. So when you're reporting this information and people react in a certain way, it's a genuine reaction because it's coming from something that you truly investigated to its heart, and you got the knowledge and the truth from it, and then we report it, and then people have a feeling, right? They feel something, and they feel like they learned something, they got a story, and they feel like their life is going to be better by knowing this, and they're going to change their lives. I think that's the type of news and media that if we could focus on, would truly create a following, versus just doing, hey, here's the top 10 of this is what happened this week in cannabis. Going through all the bubblegum type of stuff, but what does that do for somebody?
Well, it does make you aware of news you may not have been aware of through different sources.
But you can get that anywhere. I mean, if you scroll Facebook or any other type of scrolling media, Google News or Reddit, you're going to find 100 stories of the top cannabis news for the day. And that's what I was doing when I did the Twin News. I was just keywording cannabis, finding the top stories, reading the headline titles, and then moving on.
Well, I feel sorry for the people that are incarcerated because of marijuana, and now it's illegal.
I mean, how many stories could be pieced together of just those lives and those stories? I mean, those are easy stories because there's going to be an abundance of available people to talk to in that sense. How are you going to source them? Are you going to look for trending headlines to get subject ideas? Or?
Well, there's many means that go into that. Social media, newspapers, videos.
Right.
TV.
And then what will your process be, or your method? Will it be something that takes place a little bit each day over the course of a couple weeks, or will it be something that kind of happens all at once?
I'd probably say something that would happen all at once. It'd be a top story, and it wouldn't be more of a long-going saga. It'd be more of something happening now.
Right. Potentially what we're talking about here is you becoming a co-producer of the show, so people should get to know you. So what is your background? What are you all about? What's your tagline?
I would have to say photographer and graphic arts. Anything from website design, photography. I like audio productions. I do have a background in recording, but more I consider myself a freelance individual that just kind of goes anywhere from event photography and studio.
So what else should people know about you? I mean, what do you want to reveal to the world to understand what Scoop is all about?
I'm a lot music-based, and what I'm trying to do is basically bring different types of music to different people.
Are you into electronic music at all? Rap music?
So, I don't understand it all, Well,
would you be able to unbiasedly, if you were also to become music director of the show, to maintain a diverse selection of music and bands for the purpose of the show, in finding music that was appropriate to each interview,
connecting music to
that wasn't all the same style and genre every week. Everybody knows every week I go out and I try to look for original music and bands, try to find tracks that maybe you haven't heard other places, but good quality music. Bring those tracks and let people get a couple minutes listening to them as I transition from one thing to the other. So it's been a part of the show.
It's like a music spotlight.
Absolutely. Something that spotlights musicians, but also gives people a break in the show. It gives them a couple minutes to take a breather.
And listen to something they might not have heard before.
Take a little breather, a little music, and then transition into a long-form 30, 40-minute interview.
Maybe even be local enough to go catch one of their shows.
Exactly, right? I would love to do some live shows from some live shows. Interview some bands. So maybe as music director, you can be responsible for the overall music of the show, excluding the intro and outro music. That's already selected by a band that is our original supporters of the show, Reason to Rebel from San Diego. Get their latest album. But music, I think that would be a good fit, a good place for you to start. And I think the audience will dig what you're doing. Are you comfortable with this start of playing this part in the Cannabis Community Project radio show?
Well, I'll be syndicating. Kind of like the scoop303.com. There is a magazine that we created as independent entrepreneurs, per se.
Denver-based cultural magazine.
And, it was a lot of work through, but it gives you a kind of idea what the Scoop is a media platform that could initially be inserted in podcasts and other people's local productions and or call us to your show.
Absolutely.
Maybe do an interview or send us your events and we'll post them up there.
That's a great platform. I want to encourage everybody to check it out. Something local, more important, and founded and produced by a local. Check them out, Scoop at thescoop303.com for the Cannabis Community Project radio show. Welcome aboard, sir. I'm doing audio handshaking. I do that louder so it's audio. There we go. That's the equivalent of a signature, man. It's an audio handshake. The shaking of the hand was heard. That's legal in court.
Somewhere.
All right. So what do you think? Did you get it? Did you get the idea? Do you think it's going to work out? And by all means, if you want to be part of this show and community, reach out because we might have a segment, a job, or a role for you too. Hey, Cannapreneurs. This week's show is sponsored by Dairy Berries Recording Studio. Dairy Berries Recording Studio, located in Arvada, Colorado, is your local recording studio with affordable rates. Mark is well experienced and will make your show, music, or any audio you have sound great. He makes our show come across the internet loud and clear every week, and he can do the same for your project. Take a look at dairyberriesrecordingstudio.com or call Mark at 303-456-8216.
Chase you out of earth. Send him
your final warning. This episode contains heavy talk about drug use. Listen at your own risk.
Yeah, it's been another good Wednesday, man. I've enjoyed it. Had people from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Ohio.
Coming from all over the place.
Yeah.
Are they coming mostly? I noticed on your map you have more people coming from east than you do from west.
I've noticed that as well. I don't know if that's just by chance at this point because, I'm so new still. I mean,
right.
You're talking a month and a half.
Well, I think it's a good reflection of the actual founding of the U.S. itself.
Oh, yeah, sure. The more population's that way, no matter what, yeah.
It's like people wanted to go as west as far as they could, but most of the Midwest up into the west exists because people eventually said, I think this is good enough.
Yeah, I'm far enough. Man.
Those mountains are looking pretty tall there.
Get off this horse.
So I think that's probably reflective of what's happening. People probably intend to go to California, but then all of a sudden, Colorado became a place where you could smoke, and people are like, "Do we really need to go to California?"
Oh, hands down. I mean, there are definitely people coming here specifically to smoke.
Right.
And there are people coming here for the whole experience of visiting Colorado and
right.
all the wonderful things it has to offer. And it also enjoying the fact they can buy legal marijuana.
But if you're already in California, there's less of an incentive to go somewhere.
Very true.
If you're in one of these crazy East Coast states where they're still living in archaic times. Yep. Denver sounds really close all of a sudden.
Oh, definitely.
Chicago, realistically, even driving, you're talking about maybe 12 hours, maybe,
Oh, yeah, good 12 hours.
But that's not nowadays, that's not that big of a road trip.
No, it's not that bad anymore. You get across, nowadays, you get into Nebraska, well, hey, the speed limit, they bumped it up to 75, so you can actually feel like you're getting across nowhere quicker.
On a road to nowhere.
Yeah, but it's true. You're right. People don't have a problem. The cars are more reliable, less chance of breaking down, all of those things.
I wish we had like a way just to bypass the states.
Oh, sure.
And I guess you call that an airplane.
But it's not that easy.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, if there was a way Colorado could invent a way of transportation that just allowed people just to come straight here, that would be. Here, try some of that. That's
sure.
That's from right down the street, Patient's Choice.
Oh yeah. Down there on the left.
Yeah. They're not one of my regulars. Matter of fact, I hardly ever go to Patient's Choice, but because they're so close, and I was talking about this with a guy just to kind of sidetrack, but I was talking to him the other day because his product is so inconsistent that we were talking about like McDonald's. McDonald's is shitty food. But it's consistently shitty food.
Right.
And that's what makes it popular.
Anywhere you go in the country, it's the same shitty food.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was telling him, he's like, you're not the only person I come to. And matter of fact, if we weren't friends, I probably would stop coming here. Because your product is so inconsistent that I never know what I'm going to get from week to week. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's medium, sometimes it's not.
Right.
I would be embarrassed to smoke it with my friends.
Sure.
I think if you're going to be in the business of supplying product, you should focus more on consistency than all the other features of, hey, this is organic, or hey, I use this feed, or hey, I use that. First, give me a consistent product, and then make it the best consistent product.
Yeah.
But it means nothing to me if it's organic and grown from the most natural seeds of the Himalayas with the hands of love if it's shitty weed at the end of the day.
Oh, exactly. No doubt about it. I mean, quality is quality. And you can usually tell who's worried about the quality and who's worried about quantity. You can usually tell that just by the By first glance at a dispensary. I mean,
Yeah.
you go in, you can tell if you know anything about pot in general.
Well, as soon as I walked in here, I immediately said, "Oh, this is a good vibe, right? This is a good place. Has a good vibe, has a good color, has a good ambience. It's the luck of the draw.
Location.
It really is a tourist game, I think.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's who comes and visits me on a regular basis. You know, it's the people from out of town, and that's why I made my place available, is for the people from out of town. I was one of those people in April, and it wasn't available to me, and that it ruined the freedom of buying legal marijuana by not allowing me to smoke it legally somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure. There's a couple places in Colorado Springs, and I bake and a couple other places around, but there was no place close to the hotel that we were in, and no place that anybody had told us about at the time anyway.
Right.
And that just bothered me. That's just wrong. I couldn't accept that. I've been a pot smoker my whole life. I came out here and made this happen.
Well, that's a great introduction. So let's get into it. So that's the motivation of why you came here.
That was my initial motivation. And when I came here, I didn't have, I initially had the focus. I was going to open up something along the lines of an Elks Club, a VFW, a members only type club. You came, paid your monthly membership, and you got your card, whatever, and you could come however often you wanted to. Bring your own stuff, however I could structure it at that point.
Right.
Well, as I started looking into everything just from the history and what was going on currently, everything that had opened under the similar structures in Denver anyway had been shut down.
Yeah.
For one reason or they used one premise or another to shut them down, but either way, ultimately it came down, there wasn't licensing in place, there just wasn't things in the legislature in place to allow these types of places to be active, which I get that. It's like opening a bar without a liquor license. You can't do that.
Right.
So,
well, that's true, but the setup isn't exactly an equal playing field, because it would be like trying to open up a bar and saying, okay, well, I'll go through the legitimate paths of government and I'll go get my liquor license.
Right.
The difference is it's not like a liquor license, because they're not just opening the doors and saying, hey, everybody, you got money to afford a reasonable nominal fee to cover your license and follow so many regulations.
Right.
Anybody can go out in there and do that. And that's why you have probably multi-thousands of locations that serve alcohol here in this city. Mm-hmm. I'm around this city all over the place, and I do not pass a street where alcohol isn't being served or consumed in some public fashion.
That's right.
Whether it's a bar, a liquor store, a party, a grocery store.
Exactly.
Some type of event sponsored by the city that basically brings people down to get drunk together in an afternoon on Saturday Beer Fest.
Definitely.
You go to a Rockies game, a football game. The main profit and the pusher of almost everything is alcohol. Mm-hmm. So it's not really the same.
No,
because that's not
same.
what they're doing.
It's not the same, but it's the same in their mind as far as having the licensing in place to allow these structures.
In concept,
yes.
Totally, I agree.
Yes.
In concept, let's keep it regulated.
Yes, and they do need to get the license in place, and they're working on doing that. But until I wasn't going to wait for that.
Right.
I needed to find a way to do it anyway.
So you researched some laws, you found out some...
I researched every law about everything I possibly could. And, I don't jump into anything lightly.
No.
And I found out, you know what? Okay, the only place I can legally consume any marijuana products is in a private residence.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I'll go have a private residence, and I'll invite people to my house.
Okay.
And then it provides a place. Now, to be
so
honest,
let's before you move on, though, we should clarify where we are in relation to that definition. So explain Gary's Rec Room.
Gary's Rec Room is half of a duplex. I rent an entire duplex.
Okay.
I basically live on one half of it, and the other half is my personal smoking space. And I invite others to join me in my personal smoking space. and we become friends. There's criteria to become my friend.
It's almost too good to be true. In a sense, it's everybody's dream, right?
Oh, of course. You know,
maybe not dream in the sense everybody wants to have a smoking room that they're engaged in their main activity, but dream in the sense of everybody would like to have a business that is attached so personally to what you do,
right,
that it's part of you.
Yes.
That your community is experiencing your business as friends, not as patrons.
Right.
That money is exchanging hands as exchange of service and time and friendship, and not an exchange of market product for price.
Right.
Economics.
I'm not selling anything. I have no products available on site. I'm not selling marijuana in any way.
No.
But I am promoting the fact that, okay, you can come here and buy the pot legally. Come over to my place.
Right.
Be my friend.
Right.
You know, call it rent a friend, call it whatever you want to. I mean,
call it what did we say last night?
True bud.
Right.
You know,
I think you should run with it. I think we should throw that out there to the
That's right.
public and see what people respond to, because I think that's a legitimate service in a sense. Like any other service one could rent for a person to do of legality.
Yeah.
Being a friend is just as legitimate of a service as anything else.
Of course it is.
And any other club or association is simply more than like-minded people getting together and becoming friends.
Socializing together.
And right, which makes them friends.
That's right.
Eventually. And that friendship in a large group still has to be supported.
Yep.
And that's where the concept of donating to the lifestyle or
keep the lights on.
Exactly.
I mean, really, just so everybody has a place to come. You know, because ultimately, I hope the place exists for everyone to enjoy, because that's what it's here for, and hopefully there can be 30 more of them around the city. Hopefully they get the license in place, and I can open up a true cafe, club, whatever you want to call it, that is available all the time.
Right, and maybe sell some products, some
'cause
merchandise.
Then there can be merchandising and everything else along with it. But, right now I just wanted to make this available for all these people coming in.
Right.
I know Colorado loves the tax dollars.
Right.
I know that the hotels love the people stay in, and everybody enjoys that. Oh, exactly.
If they don't get it.
I think most of them get it, though. They have to at this point, because the numbers are going to speak for themselves on every level, whether it's a corporate level or a state tax level.
Yeah. I mean, it would be any other convention that comes through town that books out the hotels.
That's right.
Do you take sides, whether it's a 4-H club versus Comic-Con versus anything else? As a hotel owner, your job is to service hotels.
Well, and that's what I'm here for. I'm servicing not only the dispensaries, because every day all of these dispensaries have people walk in on the recreational side and say, hey, great, now where can I go smoke?
Right. Well, it's assumed that they're local and they're going home to smoke. The assumption is.
But that's not the truth. On the recreational side, the majority of the people that buy recreational marijuana are not local.
Yeah.
They're from out of state.
And even if they were, do you smoke always in the same location where you live with your family around?
And some of these locals love the fact that I'm here. Like you just said, I've had a gentleman move in. He found out that I opened this place. He's got a couple young children at home. He doesn't smoke at his house, but he loves the fact he can stop in here, relax.
You don't have a man cave at home.
Exactly.
You need some place to go, per se, because sneaking to the closets, outside,
go in the garage, by the car, whatever.
Then you're becoming that guy. You're becoming the drug user.
Sure. You're hiding again.
Yeah, if you're hiding and being deceptive, you're a drug user.
Exactly.
This is where alcohol really is so hypocritical in every sense, because nobody ever says anything where if father comes home and pours himself a Jack and whatever, cognac and whatever, a vodka and whatever, and has 1, 2, 3 of those.
He can do that right in front of the children.
Exactly. It would never be considered. Well, so here's the question then. Is it the form of consumption, of taking in that product, that's the problem? Is it the fact that you're lighting something and smoking something and making a gesture that reminds people of rebellious youth smoking bowls and joints? If it were just purely liquid THC in all forms, would it still be the same visceral reaction from the public?
Probably not. I think part of it is the fact that, the general public sees exhale.
Right.
Okay. You get the big cloud of smoke.
Right.
They're afraid of the cloud of smoke.
Right. Or maybe the cloud of smoke is the excuse.
Maybe the excuse, yes.
To condemn the use.
True.
Right?
Very possible.
Because if your real goal is just to condemn the use, you will find any excuse.
Exactly.
Whatever it be.
Yep.
Whatever it be. I'm not a believer in the notion that smoke is all smoke and all smoke is bad. I'm not a believer in that equation.
No, me either.
I'm a believer in some smoke, depending on what's being burned, is bad.
Yes. Most definitely.
All smoke in intoxicating quantities where you can't breathe because there's not enough balance of oxygen to smoke is bad.
Right.
But simply inhaling and exhaling tokes of certain types of smoke, I'm not a believer that is inherently bad.
No, me either.
And I'm not a scientist, but I would like to think I could play one on TV.
Oh, I know I could. Yeah, I could.
I think
pull
I'd be
that
a good
off.
scientist on TV. Maybe not in real life, but on TV.
I think I could pull it off in real life too, to be honest.
Well, there's a lot of discipline of research and study and reading.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to. I
That's why I'm saying I could be a good TV scientist, where I could give some good lines and like a Dr. House type situation.
Yeah, exactly.
If as long as it's less than an hour a week. But I was going to make a point. But we're getting sidetracked because we don't really need to talk about the health aspect. That's preaching to the choir.
Yes.
What we need to understand is how you developed what you're developing here, what you want to do with it for the future, what your overall goal is. Maybe you can describe what the place looks like so people can get a sense of the feel and the atmosphere. Whichever one of those you want to start with.
Yeah, when I found this place, I looked all over the city of Denver. My younger brother came out here with me. We were out here for a week. We drove up and down and where the dispensaries are. For the most part, it's the low rent districts of Denver. We drove around everywhere. I never really expected I'd be on Broadway, especially right here in an area they call the Green Mile.
Right.
I wanted to be.
But
sure.
maybe it happened because of that. That first came low-budget dispensaries looking for cheap places.
Sure.
Clustered together in cheap rent places, and then it became a known place.
This is a very desirable area now.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the neighborhoods around here are booming, and they're where I know they've just redid the roads in the last few years and all of that. I mean, that's major improvement. So, but finding this place, I come across a Craigslist ad.
Yeah.
And I've been looking everywhere, and I come across this Craigslist ad, and so I come and look at the place, and the whole duplex is available. I walk in, we look at the side that I'm currently living on, and it's nice little 1-bedroom unit. Come next door, and as soon as he opens the door, my current landlord opens the door, huge Damian Marley mural.
So you came through that door,
Yeah.
through the front door.
Yeah. Damian Marley mural on the wall, and I'm just like...
Already there.
Really? Wait, this is already painted on the wall? And he said, oh, yeah, and if you rent the place, you can't touch that. That's got to stay. And I'm like, well, okay, I have no problems with that. And then as I progress through the place, I mean, there's another painting, mountains and smoke and, some other references that was done by a local artist. The bedroom area was already opened up.
I think there's a bong, actually.
Oh, there is a bong in that painting, yeah.
And this was all coincidentally already
here.
Existing like this in the duplex, painted as
including
so.
the restroom men-women sign, and the exit sign that's above, which I didn't even need.
So it was optimized for a business already.
It was waiting, but yet the building is still zoned residential because they never got it zoned commercial because they ran out of money. So it worked out great for me because then I could just rent the whole place. And really, it was just so amazingly perfect. The chairs that we are sitting in, these green chairs right here, I have 20 of them. They were here, out back, behind the building.
It was meant to be.
Yes, it was truly meant to be. I came here to do this. I'm servicing the dispensaries and the city. I'm providing people a place to come and smoke legally.
Yeah.
So when they come to their hotel, they're coming in from out of town, they can go to the dispensary and buy it. The dispensary can tell them, hey, come down here. Instead of driving to a park and smoking it in their car or smoking it in their hotel and getting in trouble, I'm offering that service. And I think it's a great service that's needed. We just,
right.
As the city and the state get their things together as far as licensing and all that goes, hopefully we can move forward. But until then, this is the way to do it.
So what's the future? Is there growth? Is it just focusing tightly on this here? Is there additional services? Is True Bud going to expand into maybe there needs to be a network of houses across the city, a True Bud network. So when you buy the membership or when you're coming into town and you buy the temporary membership, you have the central location where you check in and register like the hotel.
Right.
But the rooms, it's not a single building hotel. The rooms are True Buds across Denver.
And I've already thought about those kind of things, and a lot of it is, just like anything, demand.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to see how this one would go, get it off the ground, because initially when my first thoughts of coming out here and doing a private club, oh yeah, I mean, that's the way I see it is, whether you call it a franchise or whatever, I mean, getting several around the city.
It would just be a network, a True Bud network.
Well,
like the True Bud car service.
When I was thinking a private club, I mean, I was truly going to go all out, but now that I have to do things this way, I'd still love to get more locations because the city needs them. I mean,
well, that can happen through.
I've talked to people on online even today that they want to come here because they've heard great things about it and all that. But hey, maybe they live 20 miles away. So even that 20 miles, that's a 40-mile round trip. It could take you an hour round trip. Is it convenient? No, not necessarily.
How many vacant duplexes are around the Denver metro area that we can rent or buy out under the True Bud network?
It's really just helping each group helping each other. I mean, I'm helping the dispensaries. They're helping me. They're happy they're happy they have a place they can send their customers, and I'm happy they're sending their customers to me. I mean, we're helping each other. They all love me. And working with all the dispensaries,
you're dependent on each other.
I realized that they work together, a lot more than you would normally think somewhat competing businesses would do.
Well, you have to. They're not really competing businesses.
No, they aren't. They're
competing
businesses
against the anti-business, not against themselves.
No,
because
not against each other.
There's
in any
more
way.
than enough business for everybody to go around, and then some.
Exactly.
Which is why prices are so expensive,
Yes.
and it's not truly available. Is because the market is truly not being met. So there's so much more that could be provided.
No doubt about it.
So you were
coming,
talking about demand being the driver of what you're doing.
Sure.
We can assume demand is there.
Oh, the demand is there. It's just, it's a matter of getting the word out, and not only just for my location, but any other location. You have to be in the right spot to do this. I mean, because it couldn't just be any place in the city.
Right.
Because I'm lucky enough
it's representing the brand. It has to be like we were saying about McDonald's. It has to be a consistent product in the sense of if you're in Thornton or Denver or Wheat Ridge, you're going to get a consistent place that you're going to go to that's going to be a certain something.
Well, and it can't just be in a neighborhood somewhere. It has to be in a spot where, you can provide some parking in some fashion.
Right. It's like this. You're on the edge of Broadway,
that's not going to
right
offend your
behind us
neighbors.
is a residential neighborhood.
Right. People can park all up and down the street I'm on, no problem.
Yeah.
But you're not going to do that in any neighborhood. You're going to piss off your neighbors.
Yeah.
My neighbors is an insurance company. My landlord owns it.
Yeah.
No problem.
And you're right off Broadway, so there's nothing that anybody would think negative about cars parking and entering and leaving frequently.
And actually, my particular spot, I have 4 spots behind my place for parking which is connected to the parking lot next to the insurance company. They close at 6 o'clock, and I already have, like I said, my landlord owns the thing, so I have extra parking back there.
It really is the perfect storm.
It is completely perfect. Unbelievably
I would encourage
perfect.
people to come check it out, even once.
Yeah, just come by and check it out. I mean, even if that's all it is, just come by and check it out so you know it's here. Because
the music's
like the
always
locals,
on.
what I've found with the locals, it's, hey, I got some people coming in from out of town. I live in a one-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
I don't have room for me and my 4 buddies to get together and, smoke a bong and sit and chat. Come over here.
Right. And they could order a pizza and have it delivered.
Oh, yeah. We've had that done plenty of times.
The TV.
That's
The
true.
environment. I mean, you have a guitar right under the TV.
Yes.
Somebody could pick up and play a tune.
I've had plenty of people do that.
You could have a stand-up night.
The
poets and acoustic.
The best guitar player I've had in here so far was a 53-year-old insurance agent from Louisiana. A black guy. He picked up that guitar and, not using a pick, played Stairway to Heaven first, and then turned right into a Neil Young song. And
did he sing it also?
he started singing the Neil Young song, and I told him, I said, well, good choice, for picking Neil Young, because pretty much then it doesn't matter if you can sing, So he could get away with that one.
Fireplace, guitar, TV, chairs.
I think I got seating for like 23 people the way it's currently laid out. And and obviously that's not crowded in any way.
Right.
There's plenty of open space as well.
Well, you know what I could really see this place becoming popular as? So imagine this. Friday and Saturday night, people are going out to the bars, right? But people don't really go out to the bars till after 10, 11 sometimes.
True, if they're going out to the clubs per se. Yeah.
Right. From 7 to that hour, a good 3 hours or so, there's the prepping, getting ready, hanging out, eating,
Yep.
This would be a perfect place to come by, have a couple smokes, slice of pizza, listen to some tunes as you're getting ready to do your midnight run to the club.
Exactly. and I've had that happen. Well, actually, a couple guys in here from New Jersey did that tonight.
Yeah, they were going out.
They stopped in here.
Were they wearing sleeveless shirts?
No. They were actually really nice guys. So they came in, smoked a big doobie, and they thought that's all they were going to smoke. But there were some other people here, and they ended up smoking a few bongs and got a pretty good buzz before they headed on down the road. But
do you have any paraphernalia on site that people engage?
Oh yeah.
In? Okay.
Yeah. I've got a.
So somebody doesn't necessarily need to bring in their $300 bong.
I would prefer they do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't have a big bong to rent or to use or anything.
So what's the next step in what you're doing here?
Really just to progress the way it has and see which path it takes, because I've had attention from several different angles.
Yeah.
I've been addressed by the high dollar celebrity angle.
Well, in what way? What do you mean?
Being used as a more exclusive smoking location.
Oh, like going high end.
Yeah.
So when celebrities or bigwigs come from out of town,
shut my doors and
they can rent out the whole place.
Available to them. Yes.
And that's a possibility.
That's one possibility.
Right.
I already working with two of the pot tour companies, the 420 tour companies. And a couple others are going to come by and see me. So they're already bringing people by in that aspect. I don't know how much more.
Like to be part of the stop, one of the stops on the tour?
One of the stops on the tour now.
Okay. Good. You'll meet a lot of people.
Last weekend was the first weekend I enjoyed that. Friday, just a group of 4, and then Saturday was a group of 14.
Yeah. And how are people being generous in their donations?
Yeah, actually, that's what I've noticed. I mean, everybody more than welcomes the minimal donations, and I get lots of people. They throw me a little more because they want it to be here next time they come.
Yeah,
and I greatly appreciate that, because that's truly what I need to get to, is the point where it can support itself. And I didn't expect that right away. When I came out here, it's just like any other venture you go on. You anticipate it taking a certain period of time anyway before you're going to know where it stands.
Right.
And you know, I haven't reached that point yet anyway, so I'm feeling good about where it is.
Let's get a way for people to contact you, so they can either come down in person or maybe check out your Facebook, or call
definitely.
you, get to know you, maybe some other way before they make the big commitment to walk through the doors. How are you out there? Are you on social media?
Definitely. I'm out there on Facebook. You know, look up Gary's Rec Room. It's just REC Room. You can find me on Facebook. I'm on ColoradoPotGuide.com. You can also just call me. My number's 309-253-4376. It's all me. Gary's Rec Room isn't a bunch of guys, a bunch of people. It's Gary. That's it.
There's only one Gary.
It's me. Call me.
Very good. Thanks for listening to this week's show. Make sure to come back next week. We're going to have more guests lined up, speaking with dispensary owners, growers, business owners. Make sure to follow us on all of the social media, Facebook, Google+. You can listen to our shows live from the website or your preferred listening platform. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, even YouTube, all under the same name, CannabisCommunityProject.com. We'll see you next week.